Good afternoon, everyone. I'm attorney Danyl Patterson, candidate for the 190th state rep seat out here in West Philly, baby. In case you don't know, that is Haddington, Belmont, East Park Side, Winfield Heights. Don't forget Dunlap, Mill Creek, Cedar Park, uh, West Philly. You know where you are: 19139, 19131, 19143, 19151, 19129, 19104. It's West Philly, baby. So as you know, we come here every day at 3:30 to let you know what's going on in West Philly and in the world at large, and how we can help to serve you in this time of uncertainty. So the question that's on everybody's mind is, where is my stimulus check? That's what they all want to know. So we've got folks who said theirs have been deposited. We've got folks that said they can't find them. We've got folks who don't know if they're entitled to them. So we've already given you the bare bones, but now we actually are looking for the money. And so we had to bring the accountants on so that we could actually find it. So today joining us is Miss Shauna Collins of Le Petite Tax Dame. Say hi to everybody, Shauna.
Hi, everyone.
So tell us a little about yourself and your accountant services, excuse me.
Sure. I'm the owner of La Petite Tax Dame. I've been in business since 2005. I am a virtual tax preparer, so I only have about maybe 5% of my clients who aren't virtual and they don't want to convert. But most of my clients are virtual. I handle business formation, bookkeeping, uh, uh, preparation of corporation taxes, personal taxes, and anything dealing with taxes. You need transcripts. You have a tax question, come to me.
You do it all. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I came to you in this particular regard, because there were so many questions about where is my refund. Sorry, because that's what I remember putting when back when I used
Stimulus.
to, yeah, back when I used to, like, oh yeah, I'd be so excited when it was time for the app to go live. Actually, matter of fact, that was so long ago they didn't even have an app. You had to go actually into TurboTax and click the link. But now they've come a long way, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, I am sorry, my allergies have been on fire all day. Sorry about that. But now you can actually track your stimulus check. So how do you do that? Because they are looking for them hard, those who haven't gotten them.
So yesterday, IRS unleashed their Get My Payment tool. Under the Get My Payment tool, you should be able to track your payment, put in your bank account information. Yeah. So those two, you should be able to do that. The problem that we've had, there's a lot of traffic on the website.
Okay.
And the other thing is the technical glitches. IRS just didn't account for. They didn't account for the technical glitches that would be happening. So all yesterday, I think I got about 100 calls, saying that I want to get my payment application tool and I can't see any information. It says payment status not available.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So let's just jump in here. So there were a couple different reasons that the payment status was unavailable.
Yes.
One, there was a glitch in the system. So, and this is worse because then, they went back and they actually interviewed the IRS, spokesperson, trying to find out what was going on with it. And in typical, bureaucrat doublespeak, they said a whole bunch of words and said nothing. So it was a whole lot of words that said absolutely nothing. And so as a result, what happened, people were still confused. So, there were folks who said that it said my status was unavailable. There were folks who said filer not found. There were folks who said that the information was incorrect. So this led even more panic to say, okay, maybe they lost my information. Maybe I don't have, maybe somebody put too many zeros or too many twos in or whatever when it was filed. Because this is the paperwork that I have right in front of me. And also, the other thing that happened was, because especially those folks who got status a filer unknown and said that the information was incorrect. Well, what do you do when you get on a website and it tells you that it's incorrect? What's the first thing you do, Shauna?
Okay, it was a few things. So I noticed sometimes that people were putting in maybe a different address format than what's on their
Mhm.
last filed tax return. So I would have your actual tax return right in front of you, and write exactly what your tax preparer or yourself, if you filed it yourself, put for your address. You can't put ST and your tax preparer put STREET.
Well, and the reason you can't is because they were locking people out of the system.
Oh yeah.
So immediately, and I mean, come on now, how many times have you put your password in? Because you know your password, you know it. Like I know it's the password, so you do it again, and then locked it out. And
Right.
it's the same thing because the IRS is trying to make sure that people weren't stealing the stimulus checks.
Right.
Okay, so it was like it's too many times locked down, and they were locking them down for a period of 48 hours. So you may have actually gotten locked out, and it's not like password questions on your phone when you're trying to get back into your account. This is a 48-hour lockdown. So if you got locked out yesterday, you can't get back until Friday. If you got out today, you can't get back until Monday. The system has to reset. So if you got that note, I would tell you to lay off of it for just a second.
And
Now the
also,
rest of us, go
also
ahead.
because it's a new system, there's so many people accessing the system right now. So I would just say, be patient, give it some time. But late last night, IRS issued something else stating, because before they said, okay, as long as you file 2019 or 2018, and we have your information, you are fine. But
Okay.
last night, it stated that for
We can
20 for
go ahead.
2018 filers, if you need to change your account information
Uh-huh.
or your mailing address, you have to do that by filing a 2019 tax return electronically. IRS is not they are not processing any paper returns.
So wait a
So
minute. So what? So do it again. So if you the 2018 filers, if you need to change what?
your bank account or your mailing address, the only way that can be done is by filing a 2019 tax return. And let's hope that when you file 2019, you don't owe.
Okay.
Because usually if you owe, um, you're not putting your direct deposit information on your tax return.
Yes, that's exactly right. But there is a part of the website allegedly, because again it crashed, where you can actually go to register a bank account if you're someone who has not received that before. So example specifically, it was for like seniors who didn't have a bank account on file, dependent persons who didn't have a bank account on file. You could go to the irs.gov, get my payment tool, and you could actually register your bank account. Is that correct?
In theory, I know some people yesterday stated that they were able to add a bank account.
Okay.
But again, I believe these are people who filed their 2019 tax return, and they filed 2019. They owed initially when they filed 2019, so they were able to go into the system and put in a bank account information.
Okay. So
So
theoretically, you can do it. That's basically what we got, just like everything else about the CARES Act and the
exactly,
stimulus package and everything else. Theoretically, you can do it. So matter of
exactly.
fact, we're gonna talk about this theoretically. So here you go. William Nelson wants to talk about the PUA, the Pennsylvania Unemployment Assistance Program, for the independent contractors. And is that the one for the independent contractors, or are you
Yes,
talking about the $600?
that's for independent contractors.
Okay, I'm just making sure that's the right one. Okay. So William, we actually just talked about this before you got on. Is that they're supposed to go live as of Monday. because there were new rules about how they were going to process it. However, both Shauna and I reviewed the law. It doesn't tell you if it's a sliding scale, how much you're actually entitled to as an independent contractor or 1099 employee. We have no idea what the basis for the monies that you can collect are going to be. And what's also interesting is if it's the sliding scale, does that still make you then eligible for the Supplemental CARES Act funding, meaning the additional $600? Because the whole point of the additional $600 a week was supposed to be to make people whole. So this is going to be pretty interesting, wouldn't you say?
It really will be. It really will be. And we're in the dark about a lot of this. So we're just waiting for the regulation and everything to come down, so we'll be able to know and to provide the information to everyone what's happening.
Well, the unfortunate part about it is that we're kind of all in the dark together. But the fortunate part about it is that we can always find the people who can find out a little bit better. And to that end, that's why we bring the Shauna Collins of the world to you, because when I don't know, I just go ask somebody. It's so much easier than trying to be Dr. Google. I'm going to just tell you, I don't know. Because I'm going to tell you, this is the other thing, and this is what I find, and I tell everybody every show. What I really hate as an attorney is when somebody tells me, what Pookie's cousin told them at the barbershop, because their case was exactly the same. And I'm sure you get that a lot in the tax professional field, that people tell you, oh, you don't need to do all of that because, so-and-so just told me they filed.
Mama and them told me, yeah.
And I'm sure that Shauna does not want to lose her credentials, just like I don't want to lose mine. So we're here trying to give you the most up-to-the-minute information, which is also why we've come to you so many times, because it literally changes daily. So as you just see, Shauna said now the rule is if you were a 2018 filer and you didn't file in 2019, then you can't put your bank account information in. But that's only if you didn't owe. So that means you still don't have your bank account information. So those folks who are the kind of folks, I guess, like me, who always have to pay, maybe the answer just is sit around and wait on your paper check, especially if you have not moved and your address is still the same. I don't know.
The other thing is for Social Security, SSDI, railroad benefits. A lot of people tried to go into the system yesterday to check on their status, and IRS had not loaded their information into the system yet.
Oh wow!
So many, many. I don't know why many thought that yesterday was the D-Day for everyone.
Well, you know why? And I'm gonna tell you why. If somebody else got a check, I want one too. That's why. Because if you got yours, I want to know why I didn't get mine. And I'm telling you, yesterday was a debacle. It was a lot of, well, I got mine, you didn't get yours. Well, if you got yours, you should do A, B, C, X, Y, and Z with it. Or if you got yours, that means you broke because you don't make no money. And oh, well, if you make over so much money, you shouldn't even need help. I was just sitting there like, wow. I'm gonna tell you, if Trump didn't do anything else, he made a way for us to be mad at each other. Seriously, y'all, it's a way for us to be mad at each other and forget to be mad at them. Because meanwhile, we're gonna talk about these SBA loans. They don't run out of money, but Ruth Chris got what, 5% of the money? A small business. Ruth Chris got 5% of the entire payout that was supposed to be for everybody, and now the small businesses are trying to figure out what they're going to do, and they're scrambling. So those business owners like myself, not many, remember I told you about the emergency economic disaster loan. A lot of folks didn't get those because PPP, the payment protection plan, exhausted out the program. So what happened is, your typical small business, what we think of as small business is really what they call a micro business.
Right.
And I'd explained that to you guys before. Micro businesses, those are the folks that are we that's what we think of when we think of small business, maybe 20 employees max. We think about, local restaurant that we go to. We think about the local tax preparer that we use. We think about the local attorney that we use. We don't think about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, because we know Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is a chain that has many, many employees. So what did they do? Every single one, even though they were not franchises, were actually considered an individual business. And as a way, yep, exactly ish. So as a way, what they did was they were able to get $22 million. So whereas, and you'll look and you'll see the stats, the average idle payment was for companies was about $212,000. That's what the average payment was. Meanwhile, Ruth's Chris got 22 million. So they got, what, 10, 20 times what everybody else did. So there's always a loophole. And don't forget, all the folks on my timeline was arguing about $1,200. Meanwhile, there's a loophole in the CARES Act that millionaires who actually make, folks who earn over $1.2 million actually received a $1.7 million tax benefit from the CARES Act. Did you see that?
Yep.
So if you make $1 million, you get 1 point. So if you have 1.2 million, you get 1.7 million. Now you got 3 million.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, we arguing who are supposed to get $1,200.
Well, I did see that they're going back to the drawing board trying to get 250 billion more, or 300 billion more.
Money all of a sudden. I mean, we just got they just printing the money. All of a sudden, we got all the monies. Remember when they said, we're going to get reparations? We don't have money for that. Well, we're going to forgive them student loans. We don't have money for that. We're going to give universal health care. We don't have money for that. Billionaires have lost money. Let's everybody get a check.
Yep.
Let's everybody get a check. It's a little bit.
We're gonna satisfy, the little people, and then we're gonna really fund
1.7 million. They're gonna forget about it. So let's talk about what happened with those SBA loans. Let's talk about it because it's a whole hot mess. So I told you about the various different levels of even if they do a second stimulus-ish, okay, think about what happened with the first one. There were no druthers put on it. And this is actually what the Democrats were arguing with the Republicans, which was that the president was going to oversee the stimulus package. And that's what the Democrats did not want in the House. They wanted to be able to make sure that it was just not cronyism. And what happened? Because it was the Republicans distributed the money the way they wanted to, those loopholes were not cut, were not closed. And so even though they were small businesses, they weren't the micro businesses that actually keep, what people think of when they think of small businesses. And I'm going to be honest, not what the government thinks of, but what people think of. So now we got to go back and do another 250 billion, excuse me. So what means that we're going to get the money this time? It's really crazy. Who knows? So what happened with those loans was that they were supposed to be, and then they changed the rules right in the middle.
Oh yeah.
So they put it to, it was supposed to be, you could get a $10,000 advance, right? On this loan. And so that's why everybody really applied for it. Okay, I'll get a $10,000 advance and I'll give back, and it was supposed to be forgivable. The advance was forgivable.
Right. The EIDL.
And about a week, they decided, no. It's only forgivable for $1,000 for every employee that you had. And that's how Ruth's Chris was able to max out so much on the money. Because again, remember, your typical small business only has about 20 employees. So they're maxing out at about $20,000, $10,000 of which would have been forgivable. Okay, fine. But if you're looking at a company, it has less than 500 employees, because it has less than 500 employees per location, then now they've maxed out an entire percentage of the plan. So what happened was they didn't even get to the EIDL money. They still were on the paycheck protection folks, which is trying to keep America working. Because don't forget, I know that everybody keeps saying, oh, unemployment, unemployment, we got to do better, we got to do better, we got to do better. Let's talk about unemployment numbers because need everybody to understand it. The unemployment number is about not about me and you working. The unemployment number is about whether it looks like me and you are working. So,
Mm-hmm.
example, they don't care if independent contractors don't get money. They don't care about the micro businesses, the Ubers of the world not getting money because they're not a part of the economy that can then apply for unemployment and account towards the job loss numbers. They don't count. They don't
Right.
count how many people are underemployed. So how many people are maxed out on unemployment benefits and can't get any anymore? So it's not that you became employed, you just maxed out on benefits, so you're not counted
Mm-hmm.
anymore. All they're concerned about is what it looks like the unemployment numbers are. So they're looking at new ways to play with them, which is why yesterday we talked about, okay, let's everybody go back to work. And then once you get to work, we're going to screen you for COVID and you can't come back to work. Oh, when they furlough you, lay you off. And then now Danyl or Shauna goes to apply for unemployment. The very first question is, are you able and available to work? Well, I'm
Right.
not because I'm sick. Oh, well, you don't get unemployment. So guess what? You're not back to work and you don't count as a part of the job loss. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an entire game that's being played. Just
Mm-hmm.
remember, it's not about us, the little people. It is definitely just not about us. So
Definitely.
now the SBA loans are all done, right?
Yeah,
So now,
and then I think a few days ago, an update came out saying, oh, for the PPP loans, if you're an independent contractor, you
apply.
know, apply
Mhm.
for it. So a lot of people applied for it, and they even told you how to apply for it, what to look for on your Schedule C,
Yep.
but the money's exhausted.
And it ran out like 10:30 last night or something or another. But this is the craziness. They don't know how many people didn't get it because folks are still just in the queue. So we don't know, did they run out as of the number that they think they have? Did they run out versus how many people actually got the money? Is it how many people are in the queue versus how much money they think they have on reserve? We don't know any of that. They haven't published any of those numbers. All
Mm-hmm.
we know is that the program is 2 weeks old and that they blew through $250 billion. Or no, sorry, $350 billion.
300. Yeah.
Yes. So we know that in 2 weeks we blew through $350 billion and we don't know who got the money and we don't know whether or not there's money still coming. So did they pay those people? We don't know. It's scary. But I know a couple of people who did get the PPP and they thought they were getting that $10,000 and ended up getting two or three because they got the $1,000 per
Per
employee that they
employee.
actually had on. Yes, and who are now concerned because they held on to employees trying to keep them out of the unemployment numbers, thinking that they were going to get this assistance, and now they've signed on the dotted line saying they're going to keep the people on. So now they're going to see a tax demerit. I don't know what is that when you I forget what is that when because now it's not a credit because there's a tax consequence for it because
Right.
there you go. So now they're going to see a tax consequence when it was supposed to actually be held in abeyance. So it's crazy out here in these streets. So the other thing that they're doing now, they're making sure that if you are supposed to get a stimulus check, and we love to talk about they. I think Doris Williams asked the other day, who is they?
Yeah.
They are the same people that tell Trump what to do. He's been hearing, they've been saying. So the same thing. So they're telling you or looking for new ways to get your stimulus check. But I'm going to tell you in general, when we talk about they're Nigerian African princes. Who I'm just going to tell you who they are. We know who they are here. We know who they are. Can you tell us about some of these stimulus check fraud games? Looking for the scammers, y'all. Looking for the
Oh,
scammers.
yes, yes. I mean, and whenever there's anything dealing with money, the scammers they're out there. They're out there during tax season, and they're definitely out there now. That people are receiving these stimulus payments. So just a few is that IRS will never call you and ask you for your payment information, any personal information. They're not going to call you. They're not going to email you. They're not
Of
going to.
course they do. You know they send you a text message. I don't know about you, but I got some text messages from the IRS that told me that if I did not pay $99,000 a day, that the police, no, the FBI was coming to my door in 10 minutes.
They're not going to
I
uh,
got you. Stop lying,
inbox
because I
you.
know I got that. Okay. And it came to my cell phone in a text message when I was in court. And so I knew I had to leave court right now and go get a cashier's check for $99,000
Right.
or be
Exactly.
deported because I'm not a citizen.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and some of the things that the scammers may do, individual to sign over the economic payment check to them. You definitely don't want to do that.
What happens? They do what?
Ask an individual to sign over their check to them.
Now you mean that I should not sign a check to you and get the third party payment? See, yeah, I'm just telling you that they just, my whole life I just been signing checks over to people for no reason. Matter of fact, I just write all my checks out to cash and just let it go where it go.
Just let it go. Let it
I just let it go where it go. It has always worked out for me.
go. And also, uh, no one can get your economic impact payment faster. So you don't have to pay anyone
Now
to.
I know you lying. See, okay. See Shauna just over here trying to tell me my whole life is a lie because I'm just going to say that I know that I got one of those, I got a text message too that told me that if I paid $29.99, that they was going to move me up in the queue for unemployment.
No moving up in the queue.
Then they even told me they had somebody that worked there just like this. I don't know if you know. If you drink lemon warm water and make your body alkaline, that you will not get COVID-19 and breathe hard 3 times, twice a day. And I know because it was in my Facebook inbox.
And jump
And
on
it
one
was
leg.
from a nurse from Johns Hopkins who was somebody's cousin.
You know what? Somebody from NASA told you that?
No, it's always some nurse. Everybody got a nurse that's a cousin that work at Johns Hopkins.
No.
Because Johns Hopkins is very, very impressive. Now, I say all this jokingly, but seriously, no, I've actually been getting these calls at our campaign office over at 267-291-4702. Please, I'm saying it jokingly because there's a bit of incredulity. No, incredulity. I don't know. Y'all know sometimes I got big words and I get confused, but I basically be looking at them, with the blank stare because I really just can't believe that he will fall for the pigeon drop in 2020. But there's a reason it's an oldie but a goodie, because remember this. What are they feeding off of? Fear, confusion, and greed. Let's be honest. Instead of waiting 2 more days for my stimulus check, I'm going to pay somebody $35 and get it now, which is how folks don't know where their stimulus check went. Let's talk about that, Shauna. So you said, some lady in Atlanta ran away with all the stimulus checks.
Oh gosh. So this is what happens. There are 4 large third-party banks, and it's EPG, Refund Advantage, Refundo, Republic Bank. So as a tax preparer, if someone comes to me to have their taxes prepared, and either one, they don't have or they want the tax prep fee taken out of their refund, or they want an advance on their refund. What happens is I would give the taxpayer a bank application. I deal with Refundo. So Refundo was my third-party bank for La Petite Tax Name. And so Refundo gets the application. IRS direct deposits the federal refund to Refundo. They would give me my tax prep fee, and then the balance goes into the taxpayer's account. What has happened with this stimulus is that a lot of people stimulus payments were going into that third-party bank account. So people were looking at they went on the Get My Payment tool And they were saying, this is not my account. Well, it's the account that IRS had for you the last time you filed. So, I don't want. Yesterday was a mess because, a lot of tax preparers, you know, uh, just had a lot of clients and even non-clients come to them, saying you all, are taking our money, and which is not fair to a lot of tax professionals.
And honey, they went to CNN, Fox News, Channel 29, 3, 6, and 10, USA Today. That's all I saw last night and this morning. I said, whoa. And this is the sad part. People read the story, not just the headline. Because when I read it, one of the headline, I was like, oh, wow, they ran away with the thing. And then I said, well, how'd they do that? Then you read, I don't know if this particular woman down in Atlanta is not responding to the clients right when, because that's the other thing. And now this happens a lot. And I'm sure you see this a lot, Shauna. It's not because we're not responding. I had 88 people that had that confusion or that problem.
Exactly.
And we're in the queue. Just like you can't get through on irs.gov, sometimes you can't get through over at La Petite Tax Dame. She coming. She just was busy with everybody else. So I don't know what the story is there, whether or not she really did, close up shop, because that happens. Let's not act like it doesn't happen.
Oh yeah.
The wedding venues, the catering hall, they shut down and moved away. So it may have happened, but I don't think it happened all over the country, all at the same time. I'm surprised at that.
The thing is, these third-party banks didn't even know it was going to happen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
IRS just dropped the bomb on them. So again, we learned when the third-party banks learned, when the taxpayers learned about it. So the third-party banks had to jump into action, and so a few of them said, you know what, we're just going to send these payments back to IRS, and you'll receive a mailed check.
Oh no, that'll take forever.
Exactly. probably December. But I also seen some tax preparers actually printing out checks. So that's another thing that the third party bank enabled you to do, is print out checks. And then the other thing is, some of the third party banks said, you know what, we have a processing fee. So if you actually want us to direct deposit this into your account, you have to pay this $35 processing fee.
There's always a way to make money.
So, I mean,
people paid it. People paid it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they would have had to, if they really wanted that money. Yeah. So.
Well, it's really been something dealing with all of that. So let's talk about some more of those scams, because they are abounding. So now, who out there besides me has been binge watching TV? I know some folks have. We got 25 people watching this right now that I can see. I know somebody binge watching the TV. Tell me what y'all been binge watching and what you're using to watch it. And thanks, Willie Singletary. We work on this every single day at 3:30, trying to bring the legal lessons for life to the community. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we'll catch you online again. But come on now, somebody tell me what y'all been watching, because I know I'm not the only person that's been watching TV. I don't know. What you been watching, Shauna, since they all pretending like they ain't losing TV?
Well, I've been feeling like my 600-pound life. So,
ooh, child. Wait a minute. Last night. I was sitting there. I was looking at it. She was right at the part where she don't know why she losing weight, because they always get to that part. And he was like, you know why? Because we didn't just watch her eat everything in the world and not be on the diet. But I was sitting there with some homemade peanut butter cookies and
put it right down.
No, when I was watching it, I was sitting here, just got them out the oven. Ooh, look. Oh, yeah, she don't know why she losing weight, girl. I'm gonna tell you why you not losing weight. Let me eat these peanut butter cookies and drink wine. But what?
Yes.
So I don't know. I done binge watched the Ozarks. I had to catch up on that because people told me I had to see this. I done watched the Coffee and Kareem. Got addicted to The Handmaid's Tale over on Hulu. I even been watching trashy stuff on BET Plus. Don't.
What about All American? I loved it.
So, and all of these, the point of them is none of them are on regular TV. They're all on paid networks, and most of us are paying for Netflix, Hulu, or we black folks. Most of us borrowing somebody else's Netflix and Hulu account.
Oh Lord, I don't want to say guilty.
I'm just honest, okay? That's why you keep getting everybody kicked off. But in any way, if you are the person who's actually paying for the Netflix and Hulu, be there you go. See, I knew somebody was watching something. We see you watch self-made. Y'all watch the movie. It should don't count if you only watch the movie. It gotta be stuff that you have to have 99 episodes of. When your brain go to sleep. That. Oh, you know what? Doris did. Oh, Hunter on Prime. I want to get to that one. I want to get to that one. So what happens? So if you are the person who is actually registered for that Hulu or Prime or Netflix or Amazon account, so the latest thing is they send you an email, poorly worded, to ask you to respond with your account password information. And the reason for that is they just need the account and the password. They don't, so I just need that it's, Danyl Patterson at hulu.com so that then I can get the credit card that was used to get to register the account. And what we also know, did y'all know this? Actually, I learned it 84% of online streaming devices are paid for with debit cards, not credit cards. And so they have direct access to your bank account, and they knew those stimulus checks were hitting.
Woo.
So don't give out those information to anyone who's sending you a text message. And this is the thing, and this is the problem. Text messages really look like they're coming from your friends or somebody you must have really known because you gave out your cell phone number. But this ain't 1991 when, your cell phone, you really was using a pager because it was 12 cents for the landline charge a minute and 39 cents. No, it's not that. I mean, because back then nobody had my cell phone number, nobody. And I wasn't calling anybody until it was 9 o'clock and it was free. Let's be real. Now everybody has your cell phone number. Most people don't have a home number. So they're sending you text messages. There's actually a program that goes one after another. So if I can get one, so we got Bobby and Brian on here. So Brian Lewis Daniels, how you doing? If I can get Brian to give up his Amazon account information, well, I'm gonna go order me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to register for me, and you're seeing it. They're changing the delivery. One of the reasons that we're having trouble getting food delivery, is because folks had 15 people registered to their Amazon Fresh account. So it's like, oh, so this has actually been an interesting thing because Shauna's been ordering food for her mom. And so now she goes back in and Amazon's locking you out the account. They got to verify before they'll actually put the order in. So, the same thing with your Hulu account or your Netflix account, since they're typically, attached to debit cards. And guess what else, honey? The bank is closed. So it's not like calling your credit card company and all they have is, that's all they have is a call center.
It's the card.
Typically, when you're talking about your debit account, you got to call the bank. And the banks are understaffed right now. Folks that are not used to working from home are working from home. And as a result, they're not getting back to you. So by the time they get back to you, this money is long gone to the Nigerian princes. So now you was all worried about where your stimulus check was. Well, I can tell you where it's never going to be, in your account.
Yeah, you really have to use logic, people. Really have to use it. Now I'm wondering because with my Netflix, I use my do I have my PayPal information in there?
You want to protect yourself, actually, to like the Chase Online Pay and the Apple Wallet Pay and the PayPal Pay. I don't really know how to use it, but they say that actually adds another layer of protection.
Level. Yeah.
Another layer of protection. But I guess it's like anything else online shopping. But what we see is, again, especially, and this is the thing, and I know my folks because I'm one of my folks. I don't act like I don't act like I ain't been there. I don't act like nobody ever gave me the password to the Hulu. I mean, as a matter of fact, when I told somebody I was paying for it, immediately the response was, "Girl, I got that. Why would you pay for that?" I was like, "Well, I didn't know." Why? Like it was ridiculous that somebody would not just have 10 people on the account. I mean, duh. So, so but we're just here because we want you to protect yourself because basically, especially in this time, it's out there, it's out there. And once your money is gone, this is not going to be one of these fill out the form and you get your money back. It's definitely not. These are not monies they can call back. Is usually not just interstate commerce, it's international commerce, which means that it would have to be an open investigation. And really, it's not worth an open, international investigation coordinated by the FBI and the CIA to get you your $1,200. It's just not worth it. So you're never going to see those monies again. So I'm going to tell you all to not get locked out of your online accounts at irs.gov. Check your payment status. If it's not ready, go back and check it again. Try it at some random time. Just like in order to get a Instacart slot, you got to do 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna tell you to do 3 o'clock in the morning to find out what's going on at irs.gov. Have your actual checkbook available, meaning an actual voided check. If you were trying to put that information in, because so many people have been off by one number or whatever, and they're just bouncing them back.
Exactly. And the thing is, if your check gets deposited into the wrong, the wrong account or the wrong routing or the wrong account number,
what happened with that?
It's it's going to go back. It's going to go back to IRS.
Okay.
And then you're going to end up getting a paper check.
Okay. So I know nobody wants the paper check because I really don't want one because I don't want to see Donald Trump's name on the memo line. So I'm gonna say to everybody, okay, so please just don't get locked out of the account. Try it at some random time. Try not to get frustrated. And I know that's probably the hardest part in all of this.
It is.
Trying not to get frustrated. For those of you who have additional tax questions that are looking for a tax preparer, looking for somebody, because come on now, what we know is that in times of great crisis, some of the best industries are born. Out of the last time that we had this, Airbnb rose up, Uber was new. I mean, I remember my first time in the Uber, and everyone was like, what? Uber was new, Instacart was new, all of the micro commerce, they came out of the crash, the problems, the recession of 2008. So imagine the ingenuity that's going to go on now. So if you're looking and you're trying to buy your rental properties, because we ain't going to be house flipping, we're going to be buying rental properties because people are going to need rental more and more. Be careful with these things. So what are you going to need? You're going to need your formation papers, aren't we, Shauna? We're going to make sure that we protect our assets. We're going to, unfortunately, we're going to have to make sure that we have the beneficiaries added to our bank accounts. We're going to have to make sure that all of our old taxes are filed because they're coming for them too. They're coming for those too. And for all of you small businesses that are trying to, take advantage of some of these things, actually, Shauna said something very interesting to me about how people self-deselected for some of the programs that were going on. And how did that happen, Shauna?
Well, the thing is, what a lot of the, for instance, let's take Philadelphia Department of Revenue. They looked to see if, they looked to see if these applicants were compliant. And, that was one of their first steps. And, they kind of, if you aren't compliant, I mean, even with the federal loans, if you hadn't filed, your federal tax return for 18 or 19, your business return, you just weren't going to go any further in the application process.
And not know it. And I just want you to know that Shawnee Newton wants you to know that you are the best. You are keeping her out of jail.
Hey, Shawnee.
Because I know that people out here about to kill somebody because of this. Well, Willie, let me get you on Shauna's work information. And what is that, Shauna? How can they?
Sure. www.lapetite
Tax LAPETITE.
Yes. Taxdame.com. I also offer free 10-minute consultations. So you can find that on my page where you can set up a 10-minute meeting.
Okay. And then this is just one. Ish actually just has a filing question. He wants to know if you had to file state taxes, even if you're not getting a refund. He hasn't filed state in a decade.
Oh, um,
Still, even if you're
as
not getting a refund, so you
as
still
long as
have.
he has as long as he has a filing requirement,
Mhm.
he has to file.
Yeah, you
Uh,
still just because you're not getting anything doesn't mean don't file.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't mean don't file.
So the only time someone in the state of PA wouldn't have to file PA taxes would be if they were just receiving retirement income, because retirement income is not taxable in PA.
Well, you can always call us for assistance in general with your questions at 267-291-4702. And Bobby Edwards is laughing. He says, yeah, I missed one tax file and they came for me. They was right on you there, Bobby. They came for you. What happened, Bobby? I'm newsy here. They came for you. They sent you one. Wait a minute. They sent you a text message and told you better pay. What happened? You got one of them text messages because you know you did. Everybody's getting a text message
He
these
got an
days.
inbox.
Oh yeah, they sent it on Facebook. They DM'd you on Instagram during the D Nice DJ live one a Saturday night too, right? Because that's the other thing. People don't, when you get these things, also look at the time. Look at the time, or you are not getting this stuff at 9:30 p.m. on Sunday. That's never happening. You're not even getting that from Danyl Patterson, your attorney, because you know I'm asleep. So I'm sure the IRS don't care about you at that time.
Well, I work late, but yeah, IRS definitely wouldn't.
So thank you so much for joining us, Shauna. That was a pleasure. I love to bring the experts to you. So we're going to have a special treat tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit different because we're actually going to talk about how we're going to try and bring this community together, trying to get more of the resources all in one place. So you see the Diddy Summit. Why can't we have one of those here in Philadelphia? And Charlotte Greer Brown is going to tell you what her intent is and how she's going to do it. And how we're going to do it. So she's going to join me tomorrow. And then I've got some healthcare workers coming to you, and they're going to tell you what it's really like out here in these hospitals. Because what I've really been finding is that I didn't know that I lived in the show me state, meaning that my folks don't believe it unless they see it in their own eyes or somebody else who's actually seen it with their own eyes, they know. So if these ladies don't resonate with you and what they're seeing in these hospitals, then I really don't know who can. Shauna, please say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Make sure you give her a call with all of your tax professional needs. And again, I am Danyl Patterson, candidate for state rep out here in West Philly, baby. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:30.